welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. So today I am making a very long awaited video. I know I've been promising it to you guys. I initially filmed it for TikTok but decided not to post it just because I know it could potentially reach the wrong audience, and I don't really want to offend anybody or want anybody to get the wrong idea. But if you are someone who is into manifestation, you know exactly what we will be talking about today and why, but I am going to go a little bit into details. So today we are talking about what to do when you have a third party situation in your relationship. And one of the things that I oftentimes see people ask is, well, but my person is in a commitment with somebody. Am I the third party? And the answer is, what do you think? This is your reality. Nobody has free will but you. You manifested the third party. The third party is you pushed out. Do you honestly think you're the third party? That doesn't even make any sense, because if you see yourself as the third party, then you might as well be better off going and manifesting somebody else. Because if you put yourself in this position that you are the third party, you're giving your power away, and it's going to be almost impossible for you to manifest your person, because in your mind, a third party for us always has negative connotation for the obvious reasons, does that give you the right to go and hurt other people in their relationship? I'm not saying that, but if you want them, manifest them. It's very simple. And depending on how quickly it goes and how it just goes for you in general, or the kind of trauma it brings up for you, you will realize pretty quickly whether you even want this person, or whether you maybe even manifested the third party because secretly it was more the trauma or your trauma that wanted them, or just the idea you had of them. Sometimes we work on our self-concept and don't want that person anymore. So just be mindful of it when you do this. How much do I actually want this person, and how important is it to me to kind of interfere? Again, with the way that the law of assumption works and you having your own reality, there's an infinite amount of reality. So there is a reality where the third party is actually with your person, okay? And there's a reality where you are already with your person and where the third party doesn't even exist. And then there's a reality where the third party left and found someone else. And then there's a reality where you might still be fighting with the third party, which is probably the situation that you're in right now. So there's an infinite amount of realities, and you have to understand that. And there is a reality where the third party never existed to begin with. Not even doesn't exist now, but never even existed from the beginning. So you definitely need to keep that in mind. I am always worried that when I teach these things, I don't want people to think that they can go around and hurt other people or just do whatever they want, or just say it's my reality so I can treat people badly. This is not about, treating people badly. This is about realizing the power that you have and the manifestations that you're putting out there, because you have to realize and understand that if you are going around and you are in a mindset where you are okay with hurting other people, everybody is you pushed out. What do you think is going to happen to you? People are going to start hurting you, and they're going to start hurting you pretty badly. It's I guess it's what people would consider karma. I don't really believe in karma like that, because I'm not perfect. I made a lot of mistakes, but I grew up in a household where following rules and being moral was a really big thing. So I'm always afraid to make a mistake, and it's funnily something that I get attacked for a lot. A lot of people like to make up rumors and things about me, saying that I'm immoral in some way, because that's a huge trigger for me. So that's something that I needed to work on and still need to work on at some point, to kind of see, okay, I know that this is not true, but why am I so upset by this if I know this is not true? Because it's inherently not who I am. So I am going to make a separate video about triggers and things and where they come from and how you can figure them out. But this would be a good example, for example, for you to just see what is going on here. Because one of the most important things you need to ask yourself when there is a third party involved, first and foremost, is where did this third party come from? Why did I even manifest this? What is it about this person that makes me feel inferior to that particular person? You always have to ask yourself, if everybody is you pushed out, what is this saying about how I feel? How does that person being in my specific person's life make me feel? Oftentimes, it's because you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, maybe you're not happy with the way you look, maybe you don't like your personality, maybe, they even said something to you Maybe you're not lovable enough just the way you are. Maybe you're too replaceable. Maybe people leave you all the time. There are so many reasons as to why you could have potentially manifested that third party. And it's just really important for you to figure out, sorry, I think my camera was slanted. It's kind of important for you to figure out what is the core belief that I have that causes third parties to come into my life. And there's a very high chance that this is a recurring pattern for you. Like, very few people will have this experience like for the first time, unless you may not have gone through a lot of relationships, or maybe you're young. But even if you look into, this could also have translated into friendships. This could have translated into relationships with your parents. Maybe you grew up in a marriage where cheating was involved, right? And you as the kid were somehow involved in that. I can absolutely relate to that. You know what I mean? And you might be old enough to understand that there's something wrong, but you're not old enough to understand what exactly it is that's going wrong, or how that like works, or why the parent that's being, mistreated is sad or upset. Like, just like our little child brain can't really comprehend that. You know what I mean? So I think it's really important to work on that core belief to kind of figure out what it is, because once you kind of like crack the code on that, you are able to work on that through affirming. Or, I just made a deck that I think is really cool. Like, and I was going to say cute, I don't know. Where I basically can use tarot cards to figure out which manifestation method is the best for you, which I love to use it for myself even. But basically you can then use whatever manifestation method works best for you in order to figure out what you need to change, okay? And how you need to change it. But one of the things that I would absolutely do from the very beginning, even if you don't know what limiting belief currently blocks you, is to really, really hone in on the fact that this is your reality. The third party has no manifestation power. The third party has no magic power. The third party has literally no power over you and your person. One of the biggest things that I see is people being concerned that the third party can manifest against them. But if everybody is you pushed out, why are you giving them the power to do so? They can only have manifestation power if you allow them to have it. They can only do black magic spells on you if you allow them to do so. I have a subliminal, for example, that protects you from like enemies, hexes and stuff, and that one does really, really well. And that does include protecting you from being able to be touched by anything anyone ever sends you. And it's going to send that back to them, because again, everybody's you pushed out. That does come back to them at some point. Does it come back to you? Again, only if you believe it does. However, I do think that if your mind is open to doing this to other people, chances are that that like deep down, you are going to get that back at some point. And if you don't have to utilize negative things that might even make you feel bad about yourself and your integrity and your values, why use them instead of just going the law of assumption way and just stopping them from hurting you while still being able to manifest the life that you want? Because it's really not that hard. But I think the most important thing that I want you to understand is the fact that they can't manifest against you. They literally can't. There is no winning or losing in this situation. Like, the other person always has to lose and you always have to win, because this is your reality. Again, they have their own reality. They have their own stuff going on. You would never know about it. You would never care about it, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. The most important thing is that you create the life that you want with the person that you want in the most harmonious way, which is why I always tell you guys, for example, if you are dealing with a third party, the best thing you can do is manifest happiness for them with someone else. And on top of that, if you are dealing with someone who's pretty toxic and narcissistic and all that kind of stuff, send them some self-love. That's what I did for Karmic like a while back. I, to be fair, haven't really stuck with it, so it was kind of like fluctuating, because I was fluctuating in my practice. But for a while it worked, and it worked really well, because they're basically lacking self-love. But if you think about it, what causes you to manifest a third party? More times than not, it's a lack of self-love. It's a lack of trusting within yourself that you are good enough just the way you are, that no matter who comes into your specific person's life, you are always the first choice and you are the only choice. So everything you hate about the third party is an exact mirror reflection of things that you need to work on. So just be mindful of that before you maybe start chatting about them or gossiping or telling your friends or your family how mean they are or everything that's going bad. Like, ask yourself why. What is it really that is really bothering me about them, and how can I translate that into my own feelings, my own manifestations, and my self-concept work? Because there are people out there who can't relate to this. There are people out there who's never had a third party in their life, in any relationship that they went through. It's not a thing for them. Why? Because from being small, like being a little kid, growing up, they probably had good role models when it came to this. They had a very steady and safe self-concept, and they had really healthy stories around relationships. And that's the thing, like when you try to get rid of a third party, there's a lot of things you have to consider, but one of the most important things is to understand that they are just a reflection of you, and that the more you hate them, and the more you gossip about them, and the more you get upset that they are in the way of you and the person that you want, the longer you feed this little hate troll that you have inside yourself, which is your subconscious, feeding negative beliefs into yourself, which makes you feel bad, which delays your manifestation by tenfold, okay? And again, if everybody's you pushed out, how do you think your person feels about you? There literally doesn't mean that they like the third party better because of it, but if you have all this like negative self-talk, that is how your person's gonna see you. Do you understand? And that is, however, not how they're gonna see the third party. They're gonna see the third party the way you see the third party. I hope that made sense. So if you're talking negatively about yourself because you feel inferior to the third party, because you think the third party has one up on you, your person is going to see you as the inferior party and the third party as the better option, regardless of whether that is actually based in fact or not. Okay? I really hope that helped you guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, please. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so. Personal bookings are open for tarot reading and coaching, and I do have my free Whisper Method guide, which I'm very, very happy about. Everything will be linked down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.